The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello everyone, it's another video and I've got tons of things to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about upcoming news for my business. So let's see here, I had to write it all down. So this Saturday in Wheat Ridge, it is Meat In Day and the co-op is planning a huge pop-up sale this Saturday from 11 to 3. So if you're going to be in the Wheat Ridge area this Saturday, please come on by. It's supposed to be kind of big and I'll be there with all my tea and books and artwork. So hope to see you there. And then this coming Sunday, the Magic Makers Market event is going to be at Priz Magic at Night Owl Bar. It's in Lakewood off of Colfax. And I'm thinking it is the Colorado Mills area. I think so. So anyway, that's this Sunday from 11 to 4. So once again, that's the Magic Makers Market at Priz Magic at Night Owl Bar this Sunday from 11 to 4. And then shooting to April, my calendar's already filling up. There's the Mountain Toad Maker Mother's, wait a minute, let me give it, take two. It is the Mountain Toad Mother's Day Market. That is April 28th from 12 to 4 in their beer garden. And for those of you who don't know, Mountain Toad is up in Golden, Colorado. It's a really cool place. I have yet to try their beer, but I'm gonna change that during this event. So once again, the Mother's Day Market for Mountain Toad is April 28th from 12 to 4 in their beer garden. And that's all the news. So I've got two really cool books to talk about. So if you're ready, let's do this. So the first one, this is the second book that I've ever read by this author. And the first book I read by her was called Very Cold People. And it dealt with a young woman growing up in Western Massachusetts. And it really riveted me. I could not put it down. So now I've added her to my Rolodex of authors to keep an eye out for. So whenever they have books that come out, I know I'm going to enjoy it. So this is 300 Arguments by Sarah Manguso. You see it right there? It's a slender little book, but man, this is something else. Let me read the dust jacket for you. A Proustian minimalist on the order of Lydia Davis. That's Kirkus Reviews. Sarah Manguso is one of the finest literary artists at work today, and yeah, she really is. To read her work is to witness acrobatic acts of compression in the service of extraordinary psychological and spiritual insight. 300 Arguments, a foray into the frontier of contemporary nonfiction writing, is at first glance a group of unrelated aphorisms, which, yeah, I read it and I thought, you know, none of these are related, but then again, I still feel a connection between all of them. But the pieces reveal themselves as a masterful arrangement that steadily gathers power. Manguso's arguments about desire, ambition, and failure are pithy, unsentimental, and defiant, and they add up to an unexpected and renegade wisdom literature. I felt that this was, so I've noticed lately with my thinking and my reading, I've gotten very philosophical, just viewing the world and myself and my place in it. And this book fit right in with how my thoughts have been going lately. So let me just read a couple of them for you. I'm just going to choose them at random. Let's see. Here we go. Sometimes the bedroom light goes on and off 3 times fast. It turns on in the night. The fan starts and stops. I was angry at the ghosts for months, which shouted it to stop trying to scare me. Now I understand it's just lonely. And another one. I used to have a handwriting. Now I just have a signature. So some of these are just one sentence or just one line, and yet some of the most poignant and thought-provoking words that I've read in quite some time. I'll read another one here. Oh yeah, I like this one. When an ex writes from out of the blue and wants to have dinner while he's in town, it's because he got married. Years later, when he writes from out of the blue and wants to have dinner while he's in town, it's because he got divorced. I don't know why, but that really stuck with me. Let's see. I'll do one more. My teacher told us about having to sort a box of objects in a psychiatric research experiment. An alarm rang. His time was up. The test was designed to measure how long it took for subjects to declare the objects unsortable. My teacher was so proud. He said it meant he had schizophrenic tendencies. So welcome to the world of 300 Arguments by Sarah Manguso. And, just once again, it's one of these reads where you want to take your time in reading it. Like I said, it's a very slender book published through Grey Wolf Press. You would think, well, I can just fly through this. Don't fly through it. If you get a chance to read it, savor it, because there really is a connection between these arguments that I think it means something different for everyone. For me, it's just this philosophical trip of one person, maybe female, maybe male, I don't know. But you get to watch the philosophical openings of this person's mind and how they relate to not only themselves, but to the world and certain people in particular. But yes, 300 Arguments by Sarah Manguso is perfect for someone who just wants to delve a little deeper into thinking and feeling and reacting and being exposed to. So it does receive 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. And like I said, if you read this and you really enjoy it, I highly recommend her other book. I think it's called Very Cold People. Highly, highly recommend it. So the next book deals with my latest hobby / obsession, knitting. And this is Super Easy Knitting for Beginners by Carri Hammett. And I've kind of gone through one of the library branches that I frequent. And just looking at the knitting section, a lot of it is really, really super complicated, like making sweaters or what have you. And I thought, I really am enjoying just this basic knitting. Like right now, I'm making scarves. I'm very happy with making scarves and placemats for my tea wear. So with this book, she talks about the absolute basics of knitting. Like she takes you by the hand and says, okay, what is knitting? So it involves needles and all different kinds of yarn, and here's how you make a practice swatch. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Here's how you knit. Here's how you purl. There are actually other names for it. So this is one of the better beginner's guides that I have seen. Now, I know that there's a plethora of beginners knitting books out there, but you really cannot go wrong with this one by Carri Hammett. And in fact, so she talks about, how to use this book. And she says, this book teaches you a wide range of knitting skills, from the most simple basic ones to more advanced techniques that will launch you confidently into the full spectrum of knitting options. There are 7 chapters, and each one begins by teaching the skills needed to make the projects in that chapter. Each project provides a list of what you'll learn and also what you'll need. So I think that's really cool. You can tackle these different projects, and she tells you exactly what you need, so you're not running out of yarn or you get the wrong size needle or what have you. But from there, it talks about practice swatches, the different kinds of yarn, what the yarn labels mean. Like when I started this, I didn't know what the yarn labels meant, but it took me doing some research to go, oh, okay, I get it now. So I like the fact that she includes yarn labels and how to interpret them. Let's see, the tools, the knitting needles, the needle sizes, essential extras, handy extras. Then she jumps right into basic knitting, and then it's on from there. So if you are starting the yarn path like me, and you're just trying to look for books to kind of give you a little guide, try Super Easy Knitting for Beginners. This really, really was a good book to flip through and to go, oh, that makes sense now. And for the record, so my latest project, if you follow me on social media, you saw that my rainforest scarf was completed. So now I am working on the slime colored scarf. You can see my knitting progress so far. I don't want to unravel it, but I am using, I picked up these aluminum needles from Joann's not too long ago, and I have found that they work wonders with yarn, especially if it gets a little stuck. This just slides the yarn right off. So this is the latest. Well, I can unroll it a little bit. Whoops. This is the latest of my scarf, and as you can see, I still have a lot of yarn to go through. So I probably will be able to finish this in April, and maybe I can wear it. Maybe I have to wait until the winter time, but I'm noticing how with each of my projects, I'm getting better and better at it, and I'm getting less and less frustrated. This is very much a hobby. I don't want to make any money off of it. I don't want to sell any of my pieces. They're all kind of odd, but it just adds a little love to them. So yes, Super Easy Knitting for Beginners by Carri Hammett receives 5 pots of knitting tea from Viridian Tea House. Excellent, excellent guide. And speaking of which, I've talked about this before, but I will have a knitter's blend coming out maybe next week, but it is called Bamboo Needles and Soft Yarn. And when I delve into crocheting, which will probably be later this year, maybe next year, then I'll definitely have a crochet tea blend. But yes, be on the lookout for my new knitter's blend coming out, like I said, hopefully next week. And I forgot another bit of news too. So for those of you who have read my old book, Mabon and Pomegranate, I don't know if you guys remember that, and I had talked about writing a sequel. Well, many years later, I actually finished the book from beginning to the very end, and it is sitting on my computer right now. I will self-publish it. I do have an Amazon KDP account, and there will be a tea blend to accompany the book. But for all of you who read the book and have gotten mad with me because I never wrote the sequel, the book is done. And it was, like I say all the time, it was a labor of love. It was great to return to those characters. So I really, really hope you like it. I'm not really sure when it's going to come out, but I'm pushing April. So be on the lookout for any social media news regarding Mabon in its entirety. And it is fantastic, if I do say so myself. So on to the tea portion. Not really a review, but just talking about one of my blends. So this one is the Tea Traveler's Blend. This is one of my green tea blends. And the ingredients are green tea, which I use sencha, a Japanese sencha, lemongrass, chamomile, spearmint, and hibiscus. So this was inspired by my tea fantasy, stories and full-length novels and what have you. I did self-publish a little collection of short stories and meditations, but now I've written even more and my publisher currently has them. I'm not sure when it's coming out. My publisher told me it was sometime this year. So when I find out, I'll talk about it on Viridian Tea House. But in the meantime, you can enjoy the Tea Traveler's Blend. I thought for me in creating the Tea Travelers, they were kind of like bards, just wandering spirits that would just show up in the middle of nowhere and they would pour you tea and tell you a story. So from me to you, this is a lovely cup of Tea Traveler's Blend. The notes that come out immediately are the spearmint and the hibiscus. I'm a big fan of hibiscus. I know that not everybody likes it. Some people think it's a little bit too tart, but I love it. But yes, it's a very mild but very fruity, flavorful combination. So once again, the ingredients are green tea, lemongrass, chamomile, spearmint, and hibiscus. I like drinking tea anyway, but I really like green tea in that they say that it gives you the calm focus. Like whenever I drink it during the day, I find that I'm not falling over asleep, but I'm not wired and about to crash like I would when I used to drink coffee. Green tea just kind of keeps my energy at a nice, even pace. And when it's time for me to go to bed, I go to bed. I'm not, you know, shaking and trembling and wanting to wash the windows at 3 o'clock in the morning. So once again, you can find bags of the Tea Travelers Blend through my website, viridianteacompany.com. And like I said, when the accompanying book is out through Pro Se Productions, I will talk about it here and also with my social media. So that's all I have right now. So let's wrap it up with a tea and water breathing meditation. Find yourself in a comfortable position where you're not going to be disturbed. Make sure you have a cup of your favorite tea or a glass of water. And if you're ready, let's begin. And now let's end this breathing meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come in back into focus. And now let's have a sip of your tea or water. Delicious. So that's all I have for today. Many thanks to Carri Hammett for her lovely knitting guide, and also to Sarah Manguso for her 300 arguments, and to the folks at Viridian Tea Company for making darn good tea, and to all y'all for watching these crazy silly videos. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So as always, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your teacup high, and remember that to drink tea is to enjoy life. I will see you guys really soon. Bye for now.